Welcome everyone, and good evening, and thank you for joining the demo session on AWS Data Engineering with Snowflake. So this is the training this is the 11th batch of AWS training with Snowflake as a data analytics software which we are using for this training. And this is brought to you by Academy of Data by Recurrent Technologies in Bangalore and the partnering organization Talent Tech Solutions in Hyderabad. So thank you all for joining this course. So before we start, I just wanted to bring your attention towards the instructors. So there are two instructors for this course. One of them is Saha sir. He's on the call, and he is the one main person who is dealing with this training. He's an expert on AWS, SQL, Python, Snowflake, and Glue. And he's a major. So there are two trainers for this program. So the main trainer is Saha, and I'm going to be the associate trainer for this program. And myself, Kumar, I am a certified AWS, Azure, and data engineering trainer. I have. So all of you, please be on mute, please. So if you're okay, guys, all of this, I request everybody be on mute for some time. Yeah, thank you so much. So both of us has around 13 plus years of experience as an enterprise data architects, and we designed enterprise data architecture solutions for many of the companies, which includes pharma companies like AstraZeneca, Novartis, and we also work for energy companies like Shell. We also work for some progress companies like so we all came from some of the top-notch companies that are there in the data engineering side. And we are very happy to present you with the details of those kind of learning that we had from the projects. And again, so as you trainers, we are both certified on cloud and data engineering technologies. And we are there to help you and assist you through your learning journey of data engineering. So welcome all of you. And I would also like Saha sir to introduce yourself. Saha, can you introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, thank you Kumar for giving a wonderful introduction, and thank you everybody for taking your time out on a Sunday evening. I know it's not easy, and joining this particular session. And yeah, welcome on board, and we are going to have some real excitement over the period of next 3 to 3.5 months.
Awesome.
Over
Thank
to
you.
you, Kumar.
Thank you. So let me introduce you to the tech stack that we're doing. So this tech stack on data engineering is on AWS Cloud, especially focused on the data engineering technologies in AWS, which includes EMR, Glue, Redshift. And of course, there are also some serverless technologies also, which will be introduced as part of AWS Cloud. So you'll be really loving it. What are the new use cases that we're bringing in as part of serverless? And at the same time, this is also a course which also helps any person who is from, who is coming from any non-IT background, like, they are civil engineering, they're mechanical engineering, and they want to come into data engineering. This is the right course because we go with the basics, and this is an end-to-end data program. So we also make sure that you also have the understanding of SQL, the Python, which are very basic in nature to prepare your data pipelines. So there's a reason we'll be bringing all the basics as well in the first couple of classes. So AWS Cloud is a major cloud technology we use for this, and SQL and Python will be the base for all the data engineering stuff we are doing it. And the major one, the major inclusion in the tech stack is going to be Snowflake, in which sir is the expert on it. So Snowflake is something which we are keeping it, and Snowflake as a data platform is what we're going to train you. You'll be working on numerous new tech stacks, numerous, not only just as a data warehouse, you'll be seeing it. You'll be also talking about data lake introduction, even unstructured data, semi-structured data. You'll be talking about many new things that Snowflake is capable of, and also some introduction to data science and machine learning will also be introduced to the tech stack. So these are the things that we are talking about. And again, I'll also ask Sahat sir to include more details at the demo, but again, I'll just make it forward. So we are talking about data engineering, and we just wanted to introduce who a data engineer is, because there are many people in this batch who don't know what exactly data engineering, but still they were interested on data engineering, and they have seen some people in different ways who are excelling in their career as data engineers. And we wanted to make sure that you know the role of a data engineer. So this slide is for them. So when you talk about data engineers, so they are the one who design, build, and maintain the data lakes and data warehouse. So in the course, you'll be definitely knowing about what is a data mart, what is a data warehouse, what is a data lake, and you yourself are going to build all those solutions by yourself in the real-time projects as well. And there's a main team as well. Okay, we'll be introducing you to data modeling techniques, how to build these data lakes and data warehouse. That's the number one thing which a data engineer does, and you'll also going to be learning on those areas. And as a data engineer, many times the task would be on data ingestion. So the data will be there available in different places. So you can have a database, you can have a file, you can have a Salesforce as a data. It can be anywhere. We're going to get the data, extract the data, and we do the processing by doing some transformation functions which we use. So example of transformation is that you're talking about, a state of Karnataka or Telangana. Okay, now Telangana has a recent introduction of a different name, right? So it used to be TG, and there's some TA, right? So there are some changes in the state formats. Now, how do you make sure that you transform it for the new standards of state formats? Now, Karnataka stands for KA. So those kind of transformation standardizations are all going to be possible, and we are going to introduce any data engineer will work on those kind of transformation. This is a simple example, but we'll have more complexity added to it. And then we start about loading the data in a data warehouse. We talk about fact table and dimension table. So I know the question is, what is a fact and dimension table? We'll definitely talk about it as part of data model learning. So we'll be loading the data to tables in Snowflake. So that's something which is very important for you, for any data engineer to load, and so that he can get good data insights as well. And at the same time, so data engineers also provide data access to some other users who works on reporting or machine learning users. So reporting in the sense, maybe there are some engineers who works only on the BI side, so especially on the Tableau and all, and they can actually get the data access. And the data engineers are the people who are supplying the data to them. And we also were also giving some extra visualizations as a data engineer. Myself as a data engineer, I gave a lot of visualizations of what are the sales insights of organizations. And we introduce them to the business presentations. Especially when we say business, we are going to give those data to company executives for them to analyze and to take it further. Okay, to make decision making. And we as a data engineer should work on making sure that you create data workloads or data pipelines on any cloud infrastructure, irrespective of the platforms, which is Azure, AWS, and GCP. And we are going to help you as well. So even though we are talking about mostly on AWS, there are some times where we make sure that we generalize you on any kind of cloud, which helps you in your career. So any data engineer will work on on one of the cloud, and AWS is one of the biggest market, and they're the market leader. And this course is going to fit in with all the services of AWS data engineering, and you'll be running the workloads on the AWS infrastructure. And we'll also be collaborating with business analysts and machine learning stakeholders to design the data architecture. This is another thing, which is one of the best things, because if you see the people who are actually working here, so there are around people with 13 years of experience, and who are the only people who can talk about data architecture. So that generally impresses people, and we are going to bring to you as well those kind of techniques on data architecture. And as a data engineer, we worked on these areas as well. And data engineer is increasingly important market due to rapid growth of data. Every company is generating data. In fact, Talent Tech Solutions or Academy of Data, we generate a lot of data on sales. We talk about, we also generate on training. We also go for YouTube videos. So we are ourselves as an organizations in Hyderabad and Bangalore, we are generating tons of data, maybe 1 GB of data per month. So which means a data engineer is required for any organization. So, and we'll also talk about real-time companies like a company like Domino's. Even though it's a pizza company, they never call it as a pizza company. They call themselves as a data company. So we'll be introducing you those kind of use cases as a data engineer. So these are the roles of data engineer, and people who really are interested to know about more data engineering, they can also connect with me after this call as well, and I'll give more details. And the fastest growing IT roles is data engineer is the topmost with 50% of it. Year on year growth is 50%, which is the highest in the market. Here, if you see data scientists, it's only at 32%. Data engineers are still the people who is actually making the organizations run, and the growth is going to be phenomenal in your career because of the work that you're going to do as a data. As the role of a data engineer of all the tasks that you can see. And the median salary of data engineer, so it is all if you can see the average salary is generally higher. And if you can see there are people, this is a normal one, it's a median. It's not the highest. We're talking about a median, which is that there are people as a fresher who are paid at 10 lakhs, 11 lakhs as well. There are people as a data engineer who is paid even at 2.5 to 3 lakhs as well. Now, what I wanted to tell is, this is a very skill which is in demand. The right skill set, right? So with a cloud technology, with the SQL technology, with the SQL Python basics, and then with the Snowflake kind of architecture, which you actually can build this for data analytics. So you'll be hired in one of the top-notch companies, report-based companies, and you'll be able to reap the heavy benefit. So I'm not giving the numbers of the salaries, but again, it is all in the graph here. So and you can see it is above the market value of even the full stack developers or other common areas of trainings which you can see in the market. And so bringing to you, right? So the uniqueness of this training program by us from Academy of Data and Talentic Solution is that we have three partnering organization for all the placements. So we have a company called Test Perform, and we have Alfred Analytics, which are the major companies which are hiring for us. And we also have a third company which is called GCLAB, which is recently added. So these three companies are the people who are hiring from us, and they're building it. So these are startup companies which are actually helping a lot of companies to implement the data management solutions, and they want to train people on the newest technologies, and all the data technologies that we are seeing today in this stack are something which is the latest in the market, and these companies wanted to build a bench of people with all the cloud technologies and data technologies. So these are the three partnering organizations for us. And we also wanted to bring some benefits of this course. What is the unique points for, how we make sure that you're placed as well. So we'll provide you a certificate from Academy of Data for all the students who can deliver the project. So that is one thing which we definitely do it as part of the course. And we offer guaranteed placement to students that meet the following criteria. And you can see here, we provide 90, so any candidate who meets 95% attendance, who is successful in their live project, who is having a Snowflake certification. So they're the people who will be getting a 100% placement. So that is something which we guarantee. So this is going to happen for sure if you come with these three successful criteria. Now, the question is, who will guide you on all this? So we are there to guide you, but it is yourself, who has to make sure that you attend, your attendance is at 95%. And you also have to make sure that your presentation is ready for the live project and you have to implement it. And Snowflake certification. So we have Saha sir, who is an architect on Snowflake for very larger organizations. So he's going to help you on what are the things that you can actually do to get a Snowflake certification. And you can take his advice. And the moment you have a Snowflake certification exam done, you are going to be the hot in the market. And believe me, you'll be get a job very soon. And apart from this, yeah, please. There's a question there. Yeah. So Satish, can you be please on mute, please? Yeah, thank you. So the other thing says one advantage what we have for the people who are joining this course. So whoever is actually successful with the Snowflake certification, so who is going to be working for Test Perform, who really wanted to work for this organization. So they are going to pay the 50% cost for the Snowflake certification exam by themselves. So this is the added advantage no one can give in the market. We are sure that this helps you successfully take the exam. So please be successful in the exam, and we'll make sure that your placement is done and you don't need to pay for that as well. Okay. So we got a confirmation from this organization to build AWS data in Snowflake capabilities with the certification, and they're ready to sponsor you for the certification cost. So this is the best about us. And I just want to bring to you some course logistics as well, what we are good at. So we also have an LMS system. So all the students will be having web and mobile access. We have an integrated LMS access. So if somebody wanted to take a look at it for the data engineering alone, right? So from our organizations, so we do have it. So please feel free to, you can install it, and, you'll be working with us. So you'll be having, as a trainers, we'll also be connecting you to the app, and all the video recording sessions and all are part of this. So we have our own app, and we have partnered with a very good organization to get the LMS app to reach out to you. So this helps you to get a 24/7 doubt clarification session through our LMS system. So anytime you can actually post a question, and we guarantee an answer within an SLA. Saturday and Sunday, you'll get an immediate answer very quickly. And even in the other weekdays, maybe there may be a little delay, but still, you'll be getting a very good support on the doubt clarification. So Prithvi sir will always be there supporting you on your training needs on those areas. And then we'll have our cloud labs. So all the things that you have, we don't need to think of a machine which has a high capacity. We are actually sponsoring on the cloud labs. Okay. So this course also includes this cloud labs for us. So now I'll actually take a step back, and I'll actually ask Sahasa to take over the demo. Okay. I'll stop the share. Sahasar, please, over. You can take it.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
I
Yep,
can.
I think yes. So, Kumar, thank you very much for this wonderful introduction to this excellent course. Happy to be a part of this community and happy to help the people who are getting onboarded. So, before I take over and share some slides, I would like to open the forum for some quick Q&A. Is there any question from any of the audience based on what Kumar presented right now? I think the first question takes a little bit of time, and once the first question comes, the other ones pop up. So let's wait for the first question to come up. No, I'm sure you guys have some questions. Meanwhile, Kumar, can you confirm whether my screen is visible?
Yes, sir, I can see it. Thank you.
Ah, lovely. Okay. I think let's give it some more time for the people to think over and come up with the questions. Feel free to pause me at any point of time if you think that you have a question and needs to be answered. Yeah. So yeah. So who am I? I have close to around 15 years of experience. Kumar has given a wonderful biography of mine, and I have been in this cloud business for what now 7 to 8 years right now. Have been there for close from maybe beginning of 2016 onwards. I have worked on AWS, I've worked on Azure, have been working with Snowflake for last what 4 or 5 years. I've got myself certified as well. So Snowflake certifications or whatever Kumar was talking about, that he was talking about the basic certification. Now the basic certification itself is in so much demand that it can guarantee you a job. But then let me tell you, the platform is so enriching that I'm sure nobody is going to stop with the basic certification. Once your basic certifications are done, I'm sure you will be, you know, you will be interested to go ahead with the advanced certifications, the data science certifications. There's a data engineering dedicated certification in Snowflake as well. Anyway, I'm not going to waste much time, but then let's go ahead in so this entire course is a data engineering course, as Kumar was talking about, right? Now, because it's a very basic course, so we will definitely start with the very basics. However, if you have a little bit of background in database architectures and cloud computing, it's very good. But if you are not having it, don't worry, I'm there to help you. Kumar is there going to help you, and we can take one baby step at a time and we can start from the very basics. So a quick show of hands, if you have from this audience, is there anybody who's having a little bit of database experience and cloud computing experience? If you are fresh out of college, a computer science graduate or an IT graduate, I'm sure you would have some kind of a database experience, right? So any a quick show of hands. Let me go back to my screen and let me see how many of them raises their hand. A quick show of hand if anybody is having a little bit of cloud experience and database experience.
Yeah, so we have multiple people that are actually
Oh,
experienced.
okay, fair
Uh,
enough.
at
So
least
then
four.
I was expecting a show of hands, but yeah, guys, you have to be little interactive, because if you call us out, it's going to be really helpful for us to you know help you guys, help you achieve the level of expertise that you have, right? So please feel free to shoot your questions. Let us know what you want to hear. Yeah, Satish, I see Satish Desireti has some experiences, right? Fantastic. Anybody else? Any quick show of hands? Fair enough. I'm not going to wait, and let's move on. Fine. So the course is all about AWS and Snowflake. Now, what is Snowflake? What is AWS? We are going to briefly touch upon before I go into a quick demo and show you what all the kind of use cases and projects that you will be building with me in these 3 months, right? Right. So for those of you who are new to cloud, so AWS is one of the CSPs. the cloud service providers. We call them CSPs. So there are multiple in the market. Today we have AWS, Azure, GCP, we have Adobe, we have Alibaba. But then for this purpose, for the purpose of this course, we are taking AWS. There's a reason to that. Because if you see the job market and if you see the number of AWS deployments that are there across the globe, AWS occupies close to 70% of the entire cloud CSP market. And let me tell you, this number is not just a number that I'm throwing at you. If you Google out, you will be able to see it for yourself. That the entire market share for the cloud CSPs has been taken over by AWS, and that is nothing less than 70%. Right now, AWS is a platform. It offers multiple services. Now there are services which are in the database stack, services which are in the analytics stack, services which are in the application development and development stack, services which are around the management of your users, security. So there are tons of services. I think close to 350 services are there in AWS today, if I'm not wrong. Now, we cannot learn all of them, right? But then we will learn the the ones which are absolutely necessary for us to make to call ourselves a data engineer. Now, the moment we call ourselves a data engineer, on the middle of the screen you see Redshift and EMR. So these are the two building blocks or the two fundamental services of AWS that you need to know. Why Redshift? Redshift is an MPP database. It's a massively parallel processing database. We are going to learn it along with Snowflake, and we are going to focus on EMR. AWS EMR is a Hadoop cluster, right? It's an elastic map reduce. It's a Hadoop cluster where on which you can run your Hadoop map reduce jobs, and at the same time you can run your Spark jobs. So I'm going to help you write some basic Spark jobs. Hadoop jobs we can deep dive, but then Hadoop is not very relevant in the market. There are not much of Hadoop opportunities, so we are going to skip Hadoop primarily. But then if any of you have some kind of an curiosity to learn a little more on Hadoop, we can definitely touch base on the fundamentals of Hadoop as well. Now, the course is definitely not limited to what you see here. Along with Redshift and EMR, we are going to touch upon Lambda functions. We are going to see how you can write basic Python coding in Lambda, which is a serverless service. We are going to touch upon Glue as well. Glue is another ETL platform or ETL service provided by AWS. You can pull data into AWS using Glue. Glue offers you multiple connectors. You can connect to Salesforce, you can connect to ServiceNow, you can connect to any SQL Server or Oracle databases, which are either on-prem or maybe somewhere on the cloud, right? So with Glue, you can connect, you can pull the data, you can process the data. When I say process, you can do your data cleaning, data wrangling. So we are going to learn all these acronyms which I'm going to talk about. Maybe you are not getting it right now if you are new to cloud, but then be rest assured we are going to touch upon all these points in detail throughout in the next 3 months. So all we need, me and Kumar as your presenter, all we need is your attention. If you give us your time, we are going to ensure that you are ready by the end of the 12th week along with the project, right? Fair enough. So this is what is AWS in a nutshell. Now let's move on to Snowflake. Now Snowflake is, it's like, if you look at our course, the way we have designed our course, and we have been delivering it for the last, Kumar said, right, this is our 11th batch. So we have been delivering it successfully for the last 10 batch, and we can tell you that no other organization in this particular field has designed such a course which are going to make you job ready at the end of 3 months. So AWS is close to 25% of the entire course, and 75% is focused on Snowflake, because Snowflake as a platform is in itself very difficult and very interesting if you get a right start, right? Everything is difficult unless you don't know it. Now if you have the right start, if you have the right mentors, if you have the right interest, nothing is going to stop you from getting yourself a certificate by the end of the third month, right? Now, we're going to talk about a little bit of Snowflake architecture. I'm not going to deep dive in detail because I know it is very new. But let me tell you, Snowflake is available on Google. On the left hand side, you see this icon on Google, on AWS, and on Azure at the same time, right? So Snowflake interface doesn't change based on which CSP on which it is hosted. That means Snowflake as a platform is going to look the same for you as a data engineer irrespective of the fact where Snowflake is hosted, either on Google Cloud or AWS Cloud or on Azure Cloud. Now, again, the reason why we chose AWS is primarily the reason that AWS is going to is occupying 70% of the CSP market. And if you look at any company, whether they are on GCP or Azure, doesn't matter, they will have an AWS subscription, which means AWS will it's like, the opportunity in the market to work on AWS is always green, right? Now, Snowflake. So the another question is, okay, fine. AWS is great, but then why do I need to learn Snowflake? Because AWS is not everything, right? So AWS is good. AWS is omnipresent in the market. However, if you look at Snowflake is also a growing technology. So for those of you who are already working in the data space in some companies or the other, you would have definitely heard about Snowflake. So what is Snowflake? Snowflake is a data cloud. So when I talk about a data cloud, it means that I have my storage. So you have the storage in the middle of the in on my mouse over, right? You have the compute, which is the middle part of this architecture, which is your the sky blue part, and the upper part is the intelligent layer, wherein you can see your optimizations, management, transactions, security and governance, your metadata management, sharing and collaboration, all are managed by this intelligent layer. So that means, if all these pillars of a data cloud is embedded into Snowflake. So when you talk about Snowflake, you don't just talk about storage. You don't just talk about compute. You just don't talk about just security and governance, or any of the transaction management or metadata management. It's all together, right? And if you see, the beauty of this is the, your compute and your storage are disconnected. So you can have so for those of you who would have worked on MySQL or Oracle, right? If you can install MySQL or Oracle on your local laptop and you can check it out, your data and your compute or your database engine, they're all connected. So if you have to move a data from your laptop to some other laptop, right, you have to move it along with the database. You can't just move your data. Now, the beauty of Snowflake is they're disconnected. So that means, with your data being on S3, which is a serverless service on AWS, wherein you store your data, or maybe another parallel service in GCP, which is a Google storage, or maybe Azure blobs, you can put your data in any of your chosen AWS or cloud CSPs, but still you can operate on that data being on Snowflake, right? So that's the beauty of it. Now, nothing to confuse you, but then this is a state of the art architecture, and there are multiple banks, multiple retailers. I think on India, they already have crossed 1,000 customer, the benchmark. So Snowflake is having more than 1,000 customers in India, and over the globe they have already crossed 8,000 landmarks. So that's a great technology, and all the major players are running after Snowflake today. So whether they are on Redshift, whether they are on Synapse, on Azure, doesn't matter. Snowflake is the champion, and everybody is having an ambition statement. Like you guys have an ambition statement that I'm going to be called a data engineer or a very successful data architect, maybe 5 years down the line, right? So Snowflake is an ambition statement for every organization who is dealing in tons of data, that we have to be there on Snowflake, right? Fine. This is a left to right architecture which talks about what all the great things that Snowflake offers to you as a customer. So I'm talking from a customer point of view. So we will be learning data warehousing on Snowflake. We will be talking about how do you build a data lake on Snowflake, how do you do engineering, because data warehousing is all about hosting the data. Data lake is all about hosting the data. But then hosting the data is not end of the road. You will have to massage those data, work on those data and create actionable insights. When I talk about actionable insights, I mean the insights that you as a data engineer is going to generate for your business users to apply them on the ground. On the ground means, I mean the field. So let's say, let's talk about a hypothetical scenario, right? You are a data engineer who is working in a retail company. Now, in that retail company, there are thousands of transactions that are happening over the day, right? Now, at the end of the day, if the if the CEO of the company asks that, hey, can you give me this total of all the sales that has happened throughout in Bangalore and Hyderabad, and divide them by the zones. Let's say you have a north, south, and west Hyderabad, and similarly in Bangalore also you have those zones defined, right? Now, if you as a data engineer will have to, have the responsibility of giving those, breakdown of sales by those locations to the CEO of a company, how will you deliver them? So you as a data engineer will have to do those computations, and finally you will have to hand it over in a visualization, because no CEO is interested about, you know a spreadsheet. They are interested in a visualization. So you can do visualizations as a part of your data engineering in Snowflake as well. Data exchange. What do I mean by data exchange? So let's say you have a Snowflake installation somewhere on the cloud, which is in Mumbai, right? Because AWS is there on Mumbai. The AWS data center is there in Mumbai. Now, you have your business in Malaysia as well. Now, you want to move some data from AWS Mumbai data center to AWS Malaysia data center. How do you do that? If you do not have Snowflake, you will have to build an entire data pipeline to move the data from place A to place B. But with Snowflake, it becomes really easy. And that is one of the key selling points of Snowflake. People are running after Snowflake because data exchange is super easy. Data applications. Now, when I talk about applications, the first thing that you can resonate to is go to a Google Play Store or Apple Play Store and download an application, subscribe to an application, and start using it. Very similar to that, you can build data applications in Snowflake. You don't have to build a React application or an Angular application. So a React and Angular, for those of you who don't know, they are UI, user interface building, frameworks which are available, open and openly, and you can build them on your laptop. But then what the reason customers are running after Snowflake, because you can build your data applications natively within Snowflake using Streamlit. Streamlit is another framework which is utilized within Snowflake to build your applications, and we will see that in action in the next 5-10 minutes while we go into the demo. Data science, the hottest topic of the town, because data engineers, so while you start your career as a data engineer, definitely you will like to transition from being a data engineer to a data science after being, maybe, let's say, once you master data engineering and you are called a master of data engineering in another 5 years. After that, you will slowly have to transition your career towards data science, because that is where most of the job opportunities are today, right? So if you have to move into data science, you have to know a little bit of Snowflake, because in Snowflake you can do data engineering end to end. You are not dependent on, let's say, EMRs or SageMaker. So means, I know for those of you who are new, these services are absolutely, like Greek and Hebrew. You are not understanding, but we are going to help you take step by step to understand what is data science and how do you transition from being a data engineer to a data science. Definitely, this course is not going to make you a data scientist, but this course is going to make you a pro data engineer who will have insights about data science, right? So on the left hand side, you have your data sources, and on the right hand side, you have a consumers, wherein you have your ad hoc queries, real time, operational reporting, data monetization. Data monetization is all about how do you make money out of your data. As a company, if you are storing lots of data, how can you make money out of your data? We will also learn those things while we touch upon Snowflake. So Snowflake is going to be our baby for the next 3 months. We are going to, deep dive. We are going to look at every nook and corner of Snowflake as a data platform. We are not going to study Snowflake just as a data warehouse, but we are going to look at Snowflake as a data platform in totality. Okay, fair enough. How much time do we have? We are at 41. Right. So this is a demo that we are going to see in the next 5-10 minutes. A quick demo, a quick understanding about how we are going to, what is a unique value that this course is going to offer you. Right. So this is just a small demo, and by the end of the course, we will be building many such demos, and the final project is going to be a 2x or 3x upgraded version of this demo, where each of you will be given a project. You will be working on that project on your own. Definitely, I myself and Kumar will be there to help you. And finally, when you have completed the work, you will be able to put that work in your resume. So when you land up onto your interview desk, you will no longer be just a Snowflake trained employee, right? You are not just going to be Snowflake learned. You will have real hands-on experience, some experience. It's not, it's like, you will be able to put it on paper. You can upload your code to GitHub repository, which is again an open, an open repository, and you can let your potential employer know, hey employer, I'm not just a trained or a certified resource, I've done real work, and this is going to be my real work, which you can upload on your GitHub repository, right? So what are we going to do over here? We're going to ingest some data. So the data is on AWS, and AWS, when I say data is on AWS, so we have chosen a service called S3, which is nothing but a storage service on AWS, which is going to consist of your data files. So we are going to store some data in S3. Now we are going to create a connection. We are going to create a connection from AWS to your Snowflake. And how are we going to connect? We are going to create an event notification. So that means the moment a file is dropped onto your AWS as a source, an event is going to be triggered to Snowflake. Snowflake will be, it's kind of a trigger. So, hey, Mr. Snowflake, I have dropped a file on my S3 location. It is time for you to process the file. So this is the meaning of an event notification, right? So that once the event notification is triggered, the data is going to be loaded using Snowpipe. Snowpipe is again a serverless service within Snowflake, and it will be loaded onto your table. So the moment you upload your data, the data is going to create an event that the action of uploading is going to create an event. The data is going to come and sit on your table in an incremental way. We are going to push two files. While we run the demo, we will be able to show it. And finally, you can build an app. You can build an app with Streamlit. And the beauty of Streamlit is all within Snowflake. You don't have to, again, install it on your laptop or, some other virtual machines. No, you don't have to do that. You can build those applications all within Streamlit, connect it to your data, show the wonderful visualizations, and you can host all of it inside of your Snowflake, the data cloud. Right. Any questions at this point of time before we go over to the demo? I will take that as a no, and let's proceed. Okay, fair enough. So what are we going to do? Before I go, before I start the play, so what I've done is, just in the interest of time, because running it in front of you is going to take a little bit of time, and I think we have just a little over 15 minutes. We have 16 minutes, so I'm going to run it through. We're going to you know uh, create an AWS access credentials. When I talk about access credentials, we have to create an AWS role, and we have to create an AWS access policy. Now, if you are new to it, I'm sure you don't know it about it, but don't worry, we will deep dive into each of these, and you will be doing it by your own, and we are going to build a much better project that you are going to see right now. Yeah. So if you see, I'm going to IAM, which is identity and access management in AWS. I'm going to create a policy. So the policy is all about the policy is going to help you to connect to Snowflake, because AWS services is not within Snowflake, right? Snowflake and AWS, these are two different services. So you have to create some kind of a connectivity between AWS and Snowflake. Now on the screen you see S3, a put object, get object, object version, delete object. Now what are these? These are credentials. That means anybody who is having access to this policy, by the nature of the policy, that service or that person is going to have the rights to put an object. That means create an object, get an object, to get an object which is stored within of Snowflake, to get a version. So an object can have multiple versions. So if you are fresh out of college, if you have done little bit of object oriented programming, you know what is an object, right? An object can have multiple versions. You can delete an object, you can delete an object version as well, right? So all these are permissions which are given to the AWS policy, and we, with this particular policy, we are going to create we are going to connect to Snowflake. Okay, this is the this is the AWS storage bucket that we have created. Now, what is a bucket? Now, while you see on the screen, a bucket is nothing but a wallet. So if you have, you would have used your Paytm wallets, I'm sure, right? So very similar to that, a bucket is nothing but a wallet wherein you store your data. So if you have a little bit of database experience, you will know that you can create tables. So you can assume bucket is nothing but a table. So inside the bucket, I've created a folder called send to Snowflake. And this is the folder wherein I'm going to manually upload some of the files from my local laptop, right? Policies are done. Now it is time for me to create a role, because a policy is going to be utilized by a role, and the role is associated to an user. So if you and me are users, we are associated to a role, and a role is associated to a policy. Now again, for those of you who are absolutely new, it is really difficult to understand, but then we are going to take one baby step at a time, and we will see that in action. Okay, now we are on the Snowflake screen, right? This is a trial account which I have spinned up, and you can see that I have already on my Snowflake screen. This is the region wherein my Snowflake is hosted. It is very different to my AWS region. The AWS is on Mumbai, and the Snowflake is hosted in West Oregon. Okay. The first step that we are going to do is we are going to create a storage integration. So what is a storage integration? A storage integration is nothing but an integration between Snowflake and AWS, because as I was talking about, AWS is hosting your data files and Snowflake is going to receive the data from AWS, right? So for that, there has to be an integration. And if you see on the screen, the integration talks about storage provider is S3, which is nothing but your Amazon service. It is enabled by default, true. You have your storage location, storage AWS role ARN, so that's your Snowflake role. And finally, the storage location from where the data or the files are going to be pulled inside of Snowflake, right? So first step is to create an AWS S3 role integration, and that's what we are doing right now. Fair enough. I think we can increase the playback speed a little more. Okay. um, at this point of time, we are going to describe the integration, and if you see whatever the parameters that we have passed, they are on your integration, and this is what the Snowflake screen looks like. We are going back to AWS screen, and just to show you that whatever the details which are there on AWS, that is what has popped up on your Snowflake screen. So that means at this point of time, AWS is able to talk to your Snowflake, right? Okay, the next thing is we are going to create a database, and we are going to create a table. We are going to create a table S3 underscore table, and we are going to create another table which we are calling out housing data. So what I've done is, as you see on the screen, I've taken some housing data from the open internet. What are these data? They are nothing but house price data which is available, which I think this is the data set from somewhere in US, which talks about the price of the house in that particular region per year, right? So um, if we're going to look at the data once it comes up at the end, but in a nutshell, this is a data set which has been openly available, and this talks about the price of the house which is available in that particular region by year. And it has also some other features like, how many rooms are there in the house, how many bathrooms are there in the house, how many square, what is the square feet of that particular house. So based on all those parameters, what is the variation of price, that is what is going to be the exercise for today. So we are going to create a pipe now. Now the integration is over. We are going to create a pipe. So what is a pipe? The pipe is actually it's actually a pipe. In literal sense, it's a pipe. It's a data pipe which you create from your AWS S3 location to your Snowflake. So the moment the data is uploaded, the pipe gets activated. So when I say a trigger, the trigger triggers the pipe. The trigger pulls the data from S3 location to your to your Snowflake. So at this point of time, if you see the status of the pipe, it is stopped, right? And right now I'm going to make it in action, and it is running. Okay, so the pipe was created. I have created the pipe, and at this point of time, the is there a question? Is there a question for me? If not, please go on mute. I'll finish it off and open the forum for more question and answers. Right. So now the pipe is created. It's time for it to upload some data. And at this point of time, I'm going to upload few files from my local machine. right? I'm going to add the files, and if you see, I'm going to pause over here. So on the screen, if you see, there are, there's a data set which calls house price underscore dataset underscore 50. So that means it has 50 records, 49 records, and the first one is the header. This third one or the fourth one is house price underscore 300. So we are going to pump in 50 records and then 300 records, and we are going to see how the table behaves. So we're going to upload these two files, right? Let's go ahead and upload it. It's uploaded. At this point of time, if I go to my S3 pipe, you will see that the pipe is running, right? And if you see the history, so so Snowflake is a data engineering platform in itself. You can see all the history of the pipes that have run since its inception. So you see the bottommost line, it says underscore 50. So it has received, so the pipe has received the file which you just uploaded, and this is the history of the file. And if you run the history, if you run the select statement, what do you see? All those 49 records have been loaded, and now we are going to see uh, whether the 49 records have been loaded or not. Yeah, you see, you uploaded 50 records. Out of 50 records, or what did I say? Out of 50 records, the first one is your header. So every comma separated value file, it has a header, and then the remaining 49 records. So we saw 49 records got loaded. Now it is time for us to upload the 300 file, the file with having the 300 records. It has been uploaded, and if you see, yes, the file has been uploaded, the pipe has received, and at this point of time while I'm speaking, the pipe is actually loading all those 299 records from the file that you uploaded in your S3 to your Snowflake. And you see 348 records. So 300 and 299 plus 49 records have been loaded at this point of time. Fantastic. So we have successfully loaded 50 records plus uh, 200, 300 records in my Snowflake table. So because I have uploaded this particular data, I am all okay to run my insights. What have I done? A quick show. I've created a quick dashboard on Snowsite which runs on Streamlit. So I'll take a pause out here. So what is Streamlit? A Streamlit is a UI framework which is a part of the Snowflake Data Cloud, and you can build grids, you can build UI, you can build graphs, you can build multiple type of visualization objects within Streamlit, all within Snowflake. Yeah, this is what we have done. So if you see the data which is loaded from the file, you have the ID column, you have the date column, and you have the price column. And if you see the data which is shown at the bottom of at the bottom grid, which shows the data set which is used for creating the chart. So what we have done is we have taken this data, the date column, which is in your number format. We have formatted this to a proper date, and this is all we have done within Snowflake. This date formatting has been done within Snowflake, and we have taken the price, and we are creating a visualization graph based on the effective date and the price, which is going to show the price of every house on that particular day, and the price, how it has how the price has changed over time. And there's a line chart. um, I am going to roll it to the end. I'm going to pause it, and you see for every date. So your x-axis is your date, and your y-axis is your price, and you can see that every house, how the price of the house has changed over time. That is what the line chart says. And on the left hand side, you see the very simple Python code. So don't worry, if you're new to Python, we will learn Python. The basics of Python, we will definitely learn it. And if you already have some experience in Python, then you are going to be a champion at the end of this, right? So because Streamlit is built on Python, and we are going to use Streamlit left and right to create visualizations on the data that we work with. I think I need to pause here because we are at 7:56. We have 4 minutes, and I don't think we have much of an insight left. So we are done with the demo, and I would like to thank you guys for being patient and watching it out. Any questions at this point of time? And let me tell you, this is just a a glimpse of what we are going to build in the next 3 months that you saw, we are going to use all the Snowflake services. We are going to build a data warehouse. We are going to build a data lake. We are going to use on streaming data. So right now, what you saw is some static data which I just uploaded manually. Right, we are going to create data streams. We are going to work on streams. We are going to do stream processing. We are going to, you know, work on Snowpark. We're going to create a small Spark cluster on Snowflake and play around with it. And finally, we are going to build world class data visualization widgets. Okay, so that's what the plan is. Over to you guys, and feel free to ask questions. Any questions at this point of time? I think Sejal has a question. Sejal, feel free to go and ask
Hi,
question.
sir.
Yeah,
Good evening.
very
So,
good evening, Sejal.
uh, I have graduated in 2023 with the specialization of electronics and communications.
Yep.
So, my question is, it's gonna be a year gap for me, for the upcoming June. So, will it be a problem for me, or am I gonna have any disadvantage because of the year gap? And how this program will help me with this problem? That's all.
I'll tell you something. Year gap is something which used to be a problem when maybe when I have passed out, right? When did I pass out? Sometime in 2006 and 7. Yeah. So that time year gap used to be a problem because every company used to look at you, oh my God, you have a year gap. So that means you've lost something. But believe me something today, if you have sufficient evidence to prove that year gap see, it's when is it called a gap? When you are not doing anything, right? But then
Yeah.
if you can literally show the company that yes, I completed my degree, I did not start my of experience, or I did not start my professional journey, but that doesn't mean I was learning. Maybe I wanted to switch from being an electronics engineer to a software engineer. That is why I was investing this entire year in building my fundamentals as a software engineer. And this is what the proof. What is the proof? The proof is your Snowflake certificate. The proof is your data for Academy of Data certificate. The proof is in the project that you will be doing and putting out on GitHub. So the company is going to see the output of the project live. You can tell them that, okay, fine, take a copy of my GitHub and you can see it in action. Maybe you can create a video out of it and show them that this is what I have learned and this is what I've done in the last 1 year. Maybe you realize, see, it's like, when you pass out of 12, when you choose an engineering stream, it's highly likely that you don't like that stream, completely, right? Like for example, I started as a mechanical engineer, but believe me, after the 7th or the 8th month, after the first semester, I realized I am not liking this course, so let me shift to computer science, and that's what I did. So very similar to that, you may think that, okay, fine, at the end of the 4th year, I don't want to be continue or pursue my career in electronics and instrumentation. I want to switch to a software engineer. Maybe because I like software engineering, maybe because I like the money that is there in the software engineering, right? So whatever may be the case, as long as you can prove, so quick short answer, as long as you can prove that the 1 year has not been wasted, you are not sitting idle, you used that particular 1 year to learn and groom yourself and make yourself ready for the industry that you target to join. It's absolutely okay. People will be rather praise you that you took a break and you utilize that time to mold yourself to be a software engineer.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It was assuring, very assuring.
Absolutely. And don't worry, we're going to take one baby step at a time. I know if you're from electronics, you might have worked on C and C++ maybe in the second or the third year, if I'm
Yeah.
right. But
Yeah.
then you might have a little bit of database experience, but we are going to fine tune all of them. And it's like, if you would have been a computer science engineer, I would have said it's going to be very easy. But because you are from an electronics field, it's not going to be very easy, but we will work together to make it easy. A little bit of additional help from me, a little bit of additional, a passion from yourself, and we can all make it together. And at the end of the third month, when you end up, I'm sure if you put in that additional effort, there will be no difference between you coming from an electronics background and graduating from this course and somebody coming in from a computer science background and graduating from this course. That's an assurance from me and Kumar.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Just to
You're
add,
welcome.
that's a great answer, Saha. But at the same time, just wanted to give some role models for you. So 2 batches back, right? So we do have some people who came from pharma background, M pharmacy as well, and they are already tenured and they came into IT. It's just that the passion for the data engineering that actually led them to get into certification. They're all into jobs. See, you guys are all in bachelors of technologies, and you already know computer science a bit, or at least some partial programmings. Definitely yes. Now there are people from non-IT backgrounds. Okay, when I say non-IT, there's no computer science at all involved, and they're able to get into data engineering successfully with flying colors. And I'm sure that it'll be easy for you guys who are from a BTech background or a BSc computers or a mathematical background. So we have some other cases of banking people and pharma people who are able to do it really well. Right? So just adding it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Any more questions? And Sejal, thank you very much for asking the question. So Sejal has opened the forum for questions. Any more questions?
Hi, sir. Good evening. Myself, Pesha. May I know
Take this
table
out.
content? Yeah. Course content.
We'll do something. We can share the course content on the website, right, Kumar?
Sure. So in the website, we do have the course content. I'm going to do it right away, in the chat. Please take a look at it in the chat. I'm actually sharing you the course content.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much. So we have two questions. Third question is in queue. Please. Come on. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. It cannot happen that you guys don't have questions.
Hi, sir. This is
Absolutely.
Karthik.
Please, Karthik. Yes.
Yeah, as of my knowledge, that Snowflake is trial version is valid for 15 days. So we have a course for 120 days. How we can manage? And the
Yes.
second one, and I want to know how the transformations happen in Snowflake. Just a light on that.
Okay, so let me answer the first question. So Snowflake has a trial version available, which you can use for first 30 days. It's not 15 days. You can use it for 30 days. So now within the course, what are we going to do? So if you create a trial version, you can definitely share it with your friends, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to create groups of people. You can create your trial version and you can lend that trial version for your friends to use it, right, for the first 1 month. And in the next 1 month, some one of your friend can again host a trial version and you can be one of the users of the trial version. That's how we are going to do it. In case there is a requirement that you run out of trial versions, don't worry, we will ensure that we will give you an account to work with. That's on us. Okay. And the second question that you asked, Karthik, is a very great question, but then it has a very wide answer. Because if you say transformations, so in Snowflake, you can definitely do your transformations using SQL. However, you are not limited to SQL alone. You can write your user defined functions in Python. In core Python you can write it, or you can write in Snowpark. So Snowpark is a new offering in Snowflake, which is definitely not Spark, but it's you can use Python. It's a framework. As a programming language it uses Python, but in the background it uses the framework called Snowpark to do your transformations. So in a nutshell, there are three things that we are going to teach you. One is in SQL, the other is in Python, the other is in Snowpark. Now, are we limited to this? No. Snowflake as a data cloud, you can do your transformations in JavaScript, you can do your transformations in Java, you can do your transformations in Scala. If you have the interest, I can help you groom yourself to learn a bit of JavaScript and Scala as well. But remember, we just have 3 months, so we don't want to learn everything. And then they say that you know everything but you don't know mm, one subject to the very detail. So what we are going to ensure, we are going to focus on Python and SQL in this particular course, and we're going to ensure that you are becoming a master of Python and SQL and Snowflake by the end of the third month. However, if you think you have the curiosity to learn JavaScript and Scala, I can definitely help you. So again, coming back to your questions, in Snowflake you can do your transformations in multiple languages. You can do it in SQL, Python, Java, Scala, or JavaScript. However, for this course we are choosing SQL and Python. Did I answer?
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Any more questions? We are having a good rally of questions. I'm sure there will be many more. Yes, Vidan is having. Please.
Uh, so good evening, sir.
Very good evening.
Sir, currently I'm pursuing MBA with HR specialization.
Okay.
So being from a non-IT background, I'm excited to be software industry. So
Absolutely.
my doubt here is, so how this course is helpful and add value for my career. So I want to know that.
Okay. So switching a career from a management graduate to a software engineering, or being an the first question, I think there was another question from Sejal who was asking about being from an electronics background. Said all connected, right? So anyway, you are trying to move your career from some XYZ industry or some curriculum to being a software engineer, right? This course is going to take you the ground up. However, you remember I told you, if you have a little bit of background, it's easy for us to walk these 3 months together. If you are not, it's going to be little more difficult. However, if you have the right passion and the right curiosity to learn, myself and Kumar is going to help you out. So it cannot happen that we are putting all the effort. If you put a little more effort, if you we will conduct extra classes, we will be having mentorship, we will having one-on-one conversations. So if you leverage all those tools and instruments that we are going to offer you over the period of next 3 months, I'm sure you can do it. Now, the other question is, how can you make yourself marketable? Because moving from a management degree, management consultant, to being a software engineer is not easy. If you remember Kumar, when he was presenting his slide, he spoke about three things. Number one, 95% attendance. You have to be there in 95% of our sessions so that you can walk along with us. You don't miss any sessions. Second, you will have to finish the last final project. If you finish the last and final project, you will have super confident when you appear at an interview board. And thirdly, the Snowflake certification. If you are completing the Snowflake certification, I can assure you, nobody can stop you from getting a job. Because if you go to naukri.com or maybe Indeed today and you start typing Snowflake and you see how many job offers or how many job opportunities pop up before you. If you want to, if you want yourself to be one of those candidates to those, to those job openings, Snowpro Core is going to give you that opportunity. I'm sure you will get a call. However, you have to be passionate about learning Snowflake, learning AWS, learning a little bit of SQL and Python along with us, and nothing can stop you from, overcoming those hurdles and being successful in those interviews. Yeah. Did that answer
Yeah,
you?
thank you, sir.
Or yeah,
Yeah, sir.
absolutely. Thank you.
I got it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Any more questions?
So I have one more question.
Yes.
So DSA, does this course require more depth in DSA?
What do you mean by DSC?
Like data structure and algorithm, do we have to learn
Not at
like
all.
Python data?
Yes, I am going to teach you that.
Uh,
So Python data structures, whatever is required for this course, I'm going to teach you that. However, if you want to go over and beyond, you can learn it. You can try it out on your own. And if you have any questions, shoot at us. We will try our level best to answer. But from a course perspective, whatever you need, if you want to learn, if you want to learn a little bit of Python data structure, like a Python dictionary or a Python, a Python list or a Python structure, we are going to help you.
so thank you.
Yeah. And you were great in answering in questioning. Data structures are fundamental to any programming today. So it's not just Python. If even in SQL you need to know a little bit of list and arrays and the limited data structure that SQL offers you, yes, you have to learn it. There's no two thoughts.
Yes.
Any more questions?
Uh,
Yeah, sir.
Yeah.
This is Keshav. Yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
Keshav.
I'm new to this field. I mean, for data engineer. Which is better for that? I mean, AWS or Azure in GCP is there. Which is in good market in future, sir? May I know?
Okay. So in the beginning, if you remember, I told you the reason why we chose AWS with Snowflake, because it could have been Azure with Snowflake. It could have been with GCP with Snowflake as well. The reason we chose AWS, the reason is among all the cloud service providers today, wherein you have AWS, Google, GCP, Alibaba, we have Adobe Cloud today, we have the Salesforce Cloud today. Everybody is coming out with their own, cloud versions now. AWS occupies close to 70% of the cloud market today. That means number of opportunities in AWS as a job hunter is much more than what you get in Azure and AWS and GCP. That is the reason we thought we are going to curate this course in a way which is going to help people like you joining this course being ready for the job market from day one that you pass this course, right? So AWS is definitely the go-to choice because it's like it's having a more of an opportunity in the market. However, that doesn't demean Azure or GCP. So if you learn AWS and if you know the fundamentals of AWS, picking up Azure is not going to take so much of time, right? Because they're all the same. It's like if you are let's say if you have worked in some kind of a database, so if you know Oracle, learning SQL Server is not very very difficult because more or less they are the same from a functionality perspective. Yes, architecture design wise they are very very different, but from a user, from a developer perspective, they are same. They all still use the ANSI SQL language. So very similar to that, if you know a little bit of AWS, knowing Azure is going to be very very easy for you tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I got it. Sir.
Any more questions before we wrap up the show? Last call. We had some brilliant questions. So I think people who are still thinking to ask your questions, please shoot. Um, we are here to answer.
Awesome. Thank you all. Then I'll stop the recording and we'll be uploading this recording as well. And we'll also send it